Hello, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, you guys. This is Rose Gold, and we're going to bring you another story, some more topics today. So come on in and hit the like and subscribe. When you walk in, that will be excellent, because it's more likes and subscriptions I get, the more the algorithm will pick up, and my channel will be out here for the world to see. And that's what we want, right? So welcome in to the Rose Gold Pink Disney channel / show. I'm still working on that channel or show. Welcome in, welcome in. Okay, we're trying to get some more people in. Happy Thursday. I'm trying to get go live a little bit more now. YouTube is telling me to go live, and they be like, you need some more shorts, you need some more lives, you need to go live a couple more hours before we pay you. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. So I'm trying to go live a little bit more than I used to be. So yes. Welcome in, welcome in. Today's topic is an update on the David and Celeste D4VD, the singer who had the body of the young girl in his black Tesla that was found by the LAPD / the tow yard. So now, yes, welcome in, welcome in. We're talking about David and Celeste. Another update of David and Celeste will be here today. We got some more stuff. Hello, welcome in. Hit the like and subscribe. But yes, we're talking about David and Celeste today. An update. There's a new character. They was wondering about the Tesla. We was criticizing the LAPD. We was like, what is taking them so long? Why isn't David apprehended? And what is taking them so long about that? Thanks for the hearts, more hearts, more hearts. But it comes out, and it has been confirmed that there is another suspect that had access to the Tesla. There's another suspect that is there with the access to the Tesla. And so yes, but thing is, yeah, and he also has access to the house as well. So another person has access to the black Tesla where the girl was found a body in, and has access to the house as well. And this person is called Neo, and he goes by the handle of Asian Neo. So Asian Neo is another suspect in this David and Celeste saga, and he is the very, very gay personal assistant of David D4VD. And so we're gonna go into the reporter's room and watch her video and do an update on what's going on. And there has been an update on pictures that was at the parties that David and Celeste was. The last update of Celeste's pictures, the last update of her was January 2nd. So January 2nd is the most recent picture of Miss Celeste, and we're trying to figure out why is that the most recent picture. And 2 years ago, David and Celeste was on media. They had pictures of each other every day. So we're wondering, is that the last days of Miss Celeste, aka possibly in a freezer until September 8th, a day before her birthday. So was she in the freezer prior to people calling the police of this random Tesla that was just there, and also it finally being towed. So was Celeste gone a lot longer than September? Was it January 2nd, the day that Miss Celeste took her last breath? So we're gonna look into it today, and a possible love triangle. So another suspect and a possible love triangle with this new person named Neo. He had access to David's house and access to the car, and he also went on tour the day that David left, and that was the day that the Tesla, the black Tesla that Celeste's body was found in, finally parked. So all of this is connected together and went in sequence. And was there another plan? And was there a love triangle or jealousy of love with David, Celeste, and this Neo, very gay guy? So we're gonna look at this video from the reporter room. Yes, the reporter room right here. This is her video. She has, what is that, 51 subscribers, so check her out. And that's where we will be talking about today, and we'll be looking at her video about all this craziness, possible love triangle as well, a possible love triangle of Miss Celeste. And this phone is tripping again. Okay. Thunderbird. All right, let's get into the.
To think that there is a PR machine behind a lot of this and hoping that it will snowball and become public opinion. So I do think.
Well, yeah, let me say this first. David D4VD is innocent until proven guilty. He has not been arrested, he's not been apprehended, and he has not been made the main suspect. So everyone is innocent to proven guilty. David is still innocent to proven guilty. So let's get back into the show and do this.
Women, I think he hates girls. So was David using Celeste, any portion of Celeste, in these t-shirts?
And oh yeah, I forgot. The shirts from David. Were there actual blood of Celeste in the shirts? Police is doing DNA and collecting all the shirts from David concerts. You know that one guy that sings that one song, I don't care how long it takes, long as you're here with me. And he has all these coffins at his concerts, and he has blood shirts. Well, this woman is being killed on each video. The LAPD is now taking those shirts from different concert goers of David and running it into forensics. I don't know if that's silly enough to use Celeste's actual blood. And also, when he made those shirts, he used a black tarp, which is in the video of his. He used a black tarp that was in the video of his, and of him making the shirts. And that seems to be some of the same looking stuff that, well, Celeste's body was allegedly in. The black trash bag, the black tarp where he made the bloody shirt. So LAPD is looking at the shirts that David has made, and they are doing DNA analysis. So David, all those shirts that David passed out and got paid for, the police are taking them up and they're doing forensics on it. So if he was silly enough to do that, that's his behind. Hi, hello, welcome in. We talk about David Celeste. We're finally talking about the coffin. We're finally talking about the bloody shirt with possible DNA of Celeste and the black tarp, which she probably was wrapped up in. And also a three-way love triangle between Celeste, David, and his very gay personal assistant. So let's get into it. I'm ready.
So this is a speculation alert. The Los Angeles PD is reportedly investigating a rumor that the alt pop star David Anthony Mark David was using some portion of Celeste's blood in the red paint. Now people were saying, yeah, but if he used it, it would turn it brown. It depends how much. If it was just a little bit, it wouldn't. It wouldn't turn all kinds of red paint brown. The shirts were part of David's tour merchandise. I think it's kind of gross in light of what we know now. I mean, this man was touring around the country with caskets and, shirts that he was making himself. So he was really into this. He abruptly removed these shirts from his website the day before the FBI.
And that is David right there making the shirts with fake blood for his concerts, which he used the actual coffin. And he had Miss Celeste play by different people that he killed in every video. So that's David right there, the alleged person who is innocent until proven guilty. So, but back to the story.
The search warrant on his $20,000 a month rental property in the Hollywood Hills, but he was selling these white button-down shirts splattered with red paint that was supposed to be blood for $35 on his site. Now, according to reports, authorities contacted fans, so the LAPD is investigating this, and who purchased these shirts to test it for forensic evidence. So is this one of the reasons? I think there's multiple reasons, but is this one of the reasons that we are in a holding pattern in relation to David? Now, unlike most tour merchandise, which is mass manufactured and mass printed, so it would be, coming from another country like China, David hand printed these shirts himself using the red paint or whatever he was using. I'm assuming it's some type of red paint, applicable for clothing. And this photograph on Instagram shows him wearing his black bonnet while hand printing the shirt on a black tarp in his living room. Now, in a live stream video, David is seen in the same living room holding a knife that was used by hunters to, for animals. So police believe that, David and Celeste have been in the trunk where we are only hearing plural weeks. We don't know how many weeks. But we're going to talk more about the timeline in just a second. But parking tickets show that someone moved that Tesla several times while Celeste was in this potentially. But the one time that we know about is, according to SF investigator, he's a private investigator named Steve Fisher, who was hired by the mansion owner.
Oh my gosh, these commercials.
Must be real. The days of sketch. The LAPD is in possession of a video that shows the driver who parked David's Tesla for the final time before David went on tour. We're also hearing rumors now that there was a black SUV following this black Tesla. And we heard Steve Fisher use the word they in the Ashley Banfield, right? He didn't say he didn't say she, he said they. So was there more than one person involved? And so the internet is absolutely on fire to talk about Mia.
Yep, and that's Neo right there. The very gay, as you see on his shirt, sounds gay. So, yes. Was David D4VD, was he gay? And that's Neo, the personal assistant. Yep. That's Neo, the very gay personal assistant of David D4VD. and were they having relations? Because they look pretty close. And I'm gonna show you some more pictures that they did the Titanic hold, and they was like halfway holding each other. So I'm like, I thought you was with Celeste. So how are you gonna be held and holding this gay Chinese guy, and you supposed to be a heterosexual male with Celeste? So these pictures are very telling, and so maybe there was what is that, a three-way relationship, or a love triangle, or a throuple with all three of them together, David, Celeste, and the Asian personal assistant that goes by Neo Agent. Were they all a throuple, all of them together? But let's see. Back to the video.
So who is Neo?
Look at
this.
this.
Is Neo with David. Davidson is wearing his
Look
bonnet.
at David
There he
and
is
this
again.
gay guy. Was it a throuple, or was it a love triangle that ended in Celeste's death?
So we were thinking this whole time, and I do think this is part of it, that the police were asking for patience for forensic work to continue. We know toxicology and lab testing can take 6+ weeks. So detectives are also mapping vehicle movements, canvassing cameras. Oh, and I found out who the red Tesla belongs to. We're going to talk about that too. And reviewing other digital evidence common to modern cars. Now, SF Investigates went on law and crime. So 4 minutes in, let me just pull this up. I'm not going to play it because I might play a little bit of it, but I won't play the whole thing. I'll just share with you what he said. I just want to show my receipts. Let's see if I have that handy. Yep. Okay, so he went on with Jesse Weber. Maybe I can get it to open. Let's try one more time. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let me open this up. And let me make sure I'm showing you what I'm looking at so you guys can see it too. Okay, so he went on with Jesse Weber onto Law and Crime. And he said, and I have everything time-stamped, 4 minutes in. Let's see.
At this point, officially as a suspect or even a person of interest, the internet started connecting the dots, or seemingly connecting alleged dots between David and Celeste. Screenshots from Discord chats, live stream clips, old photos started circulating, all suggesting that they'd been in contact, maybe they were even in some kind of relationship. TMZ have reported those that were close to David thought that Celeste was 19 years old, and maybe there was a relationship going on, and fans have pointed out that both she and David had that same small tattoo on their fingers.
Okay, so that's a great synopsis. Let's go just a few minutes in. So SF Investigates comes on, and 15 minutes in, he starts talking. He says that the car Tesla was parked, and a tour that it was. He says that the law enforcement took that there was a security footage from the mansion. That there was security footage. Let me refresh this from the mansion.
First off, Steve,
that there was security footage from the mansion, and so he had never seen. So he said that he spoke with the security company. He has never seen the security footage. So I just want to make that clear. Steve Fisher from SF Investigates never saw the security footage. The LAPD got there first. but there was a DVD with the security camera footage of them from the mansion on it. So he's never seen it. He also, Steve Fisher, called the security company, and he does believe that the security cameras were going to show law enforcement certain things. And he said that he does believe the cameras were active. Now, this doesn't mean that somebody didn't go in and erase some of the
Hello, welcome
footage,
in.
but he said that there had been a failure. And there was when
We're talking about David and Celeste. David and Celeste.
The search warrant. He said that there was a quote low power failure when authorities served the search warrant and unplugged the security camera, so that they were active. So this does not mean that somebody didn't get in there and wipe or erase part of the security camera footage, but it does sound like the security camera footage was active. Now, Steve Fisher said he did not know if any of the security cameras were covered or blocked. And the reason that he brings this up is because he said that the smoke detectors were covered inside the house. So let's go to this little clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm assuming some of you guys are watching. I'm just going to play a couple things that jumped out to me.
That footage is a, quote, potential gold mine for investigators. And the question becomes, did you see anyone coming into or leaving that property after the Tesla was there? So after the Tesla with Celeste's body inside is there, can you tell us you saw people coming in and out of that property before the, let's say this, before the search warrant?
No, not from the time that the Tesla was left. So from the time the Tesla was left there, he literally immediately started the tour. There was a tour.
Okay, so that's very, very clear. From where the Tesla was left, and we know the Tesla, if you're thinking about where the mansion is, it's right here, right in this square. Right, I'm making the square. I've got the mansion here. The Tesla was left around one corner and around the second corner. So two corners on Bluebird Avenue. The Tesla was here. The house was here. So, so he said he doesn't, let's listen in, but he says he doesn't know if the security cameras were blocked or covered. And the reason he doesn't know this is he said that they had smoke detectors covered and blocked. So it is possible that the security cameras were going, but let's listen in.
Bus that was leased, and I'll tell you that Tesla was moved, and literally a bus departed for tour.
Okay. You talked about things that might have been taken from the house, things that you handed over to LA.
So I just want to do a sound check. Can you guys hear this okay? Yes or no? And Jazz, our head mod, can you just tell me, anybody who's listening, can you tell me if you can hear Steve Fisher talking? I just don't want to play this whole clip and then find out you guys couldn't hear any of it. All right, so yes, sound is good. Thanks, Lori. Thanks for modding today. Thank you, Lulu. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to play the whole clip and then find out you guys couldn't hear.
PD, is there anything you can share with us about what that information may be?
You know, one thing that you just brought up, I guess which CNC reported on, the security system. The house has got a very sophisticated security system, not just with cameras, but with sensors and all types of things. It all records to a DVR. And for privacy reasons, the owner, when he leased the house, said, you know, this is the system that's in the house, and you can use whatever functions you want on it. That's not something that then the owner can access. So we don't know if the cameras were enabled or not enabled. But if they were, it would just be cameras. It would be, we would know anytime anybody came and went from the house, anytime anybody opened a window, everything, if they kept it like it was. But we don't know. LAPD.
Okay, so if they kept it like it was, and it seems unlikely that David would have, in my opinion, changed the security system. However, he might have wiped some of it. So the law enforcement did get the DVD with all of the security information on it. And so he said that people, but what SF Investigate got his hands on was he said that he's got people coming to him with videos that they took using their own phones, right? They were using their own phones inside the house, and they have footage of him, of them inside the house at parties. They have pictures from parties, so he has some of that information. He said thousands of images that he's been able to gather.
Came in and took that whole DVR. They took the entire system, which you would expect. And I've talked to the security company that installed the system, and they've told me, you know, how it was set up. We think it was probably latency, which is stuff like if there's a major failure, and there was a low power failure warning that triggered right when they were executing the search warrant. I think that's when they unplugged the system. So there's reason to believe that the system was running. Whether the cameras were covered or not, I don't know. I can tell you that some of the smoke sensors in the house were covered, and that's probably because maybe they were, I don't know what they were doing in the house, so the cameras might have been covered as well.
During the course of your investigation.
Okay, so SF Investigates, Steve Fisher also says that they do not have any proof that Celeste was inside the house. He's gone through images and videos from other people, and it looks like all the camera photos, and so this is cameras from other people's cameras, right? They're bringing him their footage from their cameras and also images, so he probably downloaded some stuff from social media, but he doesn't have pictures of Celeste inside the mansion with David. But I want to give that information to you with this caveat, okay? Remember who hired Steve Fisher?
Are you getting the runaround from workers' comp after your work injury? You're not alone. A lot of injured workers are
the mansion owner. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is true or untrue. I just want to give it to you with the caveat that the mansion owner hired Steve Fisher because having Celeste inside that house, if she was done away with inside that house, would devalue the property, right? So it's in the mansion's owner best interest if Celeste crime could have happened somewhere else. So I just want to share with you the information that we're getting. I'm not saying Steve Fisher isn't telling the truth or anything like that. I just want to share with you with that caveat that, it's not like nobody has a dog in this fight. The mansion owner does have a dog in this fight. So there's this second property. So Steve Fisher says that it's likely that Celeste was staying in another place, a lot of time spent towards downtown LA, and he said the last photo that they have of Celeste is January 2nd of 2025. Now later in their interview, he says July 2nd of 2025.
Okay, we're gonna talk about there possibly a second house from David. That there was two houses around the corner in the Hollywood Hills which David had access to, and potentially Celeste had access to. And there are photos that have surfaced through the internet and people that lived around David that went to these parties with David and Celeste, that the residence was right around the corner. And they can also Google Maps the photos that were taken in the other house. And so, like I said earlier, they have been getting pictures from residents around them, their friends of David and Celeste, and neighbors that caught both of them on their Ring cameras and photos. And they gave them to the police, and they now are giving the last date of the photos of Celeste that brings us to January 2nd of 2025. I know that's a long time ago for Miss Celeste, a teenager that was 14 the time she died. She was about to be 15 if she was alive, but 14-year-olds with the camera haven't taken a photo since January 2nd. That doesn't make sense. Teens always taking pictures every second, so that doesn't make sense, and it's making us believe that she probably met her demise somewhere in early January 2025. But David is innocent until proven guilty, until he's apprehended or they take him in. They have not listed him as a suspect, and so he's innocent to proven guilty. But back to the video we go. Again, I messed up. Guys, come on. What is going on with me today? Ready?
I think the second one was him misspeaking. So this sets the internet completely on fire. They're going through all of the photos, and they're able to find pictures of Celeste with background on a property that was about 4 minutes away from the mansion on Doheny. So I don't know if this was rented as an Airbnb. I don't know who rented it. Was it David? Was it Josh Marshall? Was it somebody else? But there was a
And this is David's garage right here. This is the house that David had, that the landlord had an investigator to look at to see the footage, and his manager rented for David D4VD that David's name was not on, with the black and red Tesla at this house right here. This is David's garage when it's open. But yep, January 2nd, probably her last days of her demise.
Property on Doheny with some of the backgrounds, and maybe this was just rented for a couple of days, with Celeste, that are linked to this other property. They took like the Zillow photos and cross-referenced it, and we'll go into that in a little bit more in a second. But later in this interview, Steve Fisher said they do have a photo of Celeste on January 2nd. This doesn't mean this was when she was last alive. I don't know, but it's odd that that's the last image that he was able to find of her. So some of the biggest takeaways from this interview with Steve Fisher is that when Celeste moved in, the Tesla, right, the black Tesla, the 2023 Tesla, David stopped driving that. And a second manager, so I think this is the confusion between Josh, the manager, and a second manager. Apparently, allegedly, the red Tesla was in his name. I'm not releasing his name because I don't want to share anything till I get some type of confirmation. But one of the biggest takeaways is that when Celeste was moved in the black Tesla, Bluebird, David went right on tour, right? We all heard SF Investigates tell that. So David went right on tour after the Tesla was moved. So 19 minutes in, Steve Fisher lets it drop that he thinks that there is another manager that is technically the owner of the red Tesla. He also says that another thing he believes that could be key here is there's only one key to the mansion. Now, I just want to say it's very possible that David made multiple keys to the mansion, but the owner apparently only gave one key to the mansion to Josh Marshall, or whoever was representing Josh Marshall. Because remember, the owner says he didn't know David was living there. So between the time the Tesla was found, right, and driven to the impound lot with Celeste inside, and the time that the search warrant was served on the mansion, Steve Fisher said someone was in the house. There was actually a report made from the Homeowners Association private security system, not to be confused with the mansion security system. The Homeowner Association private security company. Steve said that he's gotten reports from them, and he kind of pauses and he says that whoever had the key to the mansion may have had access to the Tesla, which is why a lot of people shifted their focus to Neo, who was David's assistant. We're going to talk about Neo in just a second, but I just want to play that little clip for you. Let me go to that.
This settlement check completely changed my life, and it came from a car accident I almost forgot about.
So this is the house where people have seen this image here in the background, and that was lined up with a house on Doheny. Their bathroom has this exact artwork in it. But then this is saved to Celeste and David.
Last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So yeah, we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died, right?
No, I don't have any information of how she died, when exactly she died. I have, listen.
Okay, so let's talk about 20 minutes in. I'm just going through the parts that really jumped out to me. So 20 minutes in, Steve Fisher said he definitely knows who moved the Tesla in late July before they went on tour. Okay, so whoever moved the Tesla was not the same person who remained in the mansion, because we find out from the security company, from the property management company, the neighborhood security company, that there was somebody staying in the mansion prior to the search warrant. Listen to this.
And we've gotten videos from them and report house. And so who had that key is probably the same person that, had access to the Tesla.
Do you know who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla on that late July before the mentor. I can't say person, and I don't mean I can't say but I don't know who exactly was in the house, because it's just a report, but there's video, but you can't make a person out. But somebody was in the house, and because there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access at that time? So
that's the question. Who had access at that time? So that brings us to Neo. So Neo, the internet went crazy because here's Neo here, let me tell you who Neo was. This is Neo also doing kind of a play on Titanic, right? He's holding David there on the bow of a ship. I don't know what they're really posed in, but it looks like the bow of a ship. And looks like they're in Bog, and there's Neo with David. Okay, so this is Neo. And if I were Neo, I would definitely be getting together with the LAPD to just like clear myself. But a lot of people now are like, okay, well, who was close to David? Who was in David's entourage that would have maybe had a key to the mansion? And also, remember, Steve Fisher, when he was on Ashley Banfield, referred to the moving of the Tesla as they, not he, not she, but they. So we're now hearing rumors that there was an SUV that was following the Tesla that day. So did David, I still believe David is behind all of this, but is there more people involved? And is this why we have this pause? Because law enforcement has to figure this out, right? So this is David's former assistant. He goes by the handle Neo the Asian. Neo is described as David's best friend and personal assistant, and was reportedly around David around the time that the Tesla was moved, right? We know now it was moved on July 29th. Neo and David were both traveling. Remember, Steve Fisher said he got on a tour bus right after that. So Neo and David both traveling to San Francisco for a tour date when the Tesla was impounded. So he was traveling with David. So he was not back at the house, at least not at that point, unless he went back to the house after. So this is what law enforcement has to figure out, right? So following the discovery of Celeste, Neo immediately unfollows David on Instagram. Now, private investigator Steve Fisher said that the Hollywood Hills Mansion landlord hired him, and according to Steve, security footage exists showing who parked the Tesla near the house, rounded two corners, and he is still not publicly revealing that information. So in a shocking twist, everybody's looking at the possibility, because Neo apparently got on that tour bus too. Neo was his personal assistant. Did Neo have a key to the house, and what type of friendship did Neo and David have together?
You play $5, you get $50 instantly.
Right? I mean, so, if I were Neo, I would absolutely be getting with the LAPD to just clear myself up, just clear this all up. So, we have more. So, Laura Conlon, she's a journalist, posted on X that David's friend, known as Neo, his handle is Neo the Asian, is possibly a key figure based on SF investigates. Now remember, I just want to give it to you with this caveat. This is not coming from the LAPD. This is coming from a private investigator. But in the move that's caught the attention of everybody online, Neo identified as a close friend of David. And he reportedly scrubbed all of his social media accounts related to the artist. Now, this may have just been Neo not wanting to be associated with David. It could be completely innocent. But, law enforcement's going to have to take this person into account if he was driving the Tesla. Now, it doesn't mean he knew Celeste was inside. Doesn't mean he didn't. Or it still could be that David was driving the Tesla. But this other person, Neo, has popped up. So he no longer follows David on Instagram. And this sudden digital social distancing has, obviously caught the eye of a lot of people. And some people think he just doesn't want to have anything to do with David. But some people have seen it as a sign of potentially Neo having more involvement and knows more than what we know. It doesn't mean he's not cooperating with the LAPD, so please don't send any negativity to Neo. Just because people suspect him doesn't mean he did anything, okay? But as soon as social media, this post, circulated from Lauren on social media, the journalist, it went viral and it grabbed the attention of the netizens. Now, one ex-user wrote, based on the photo David posted on his Instagram, Neo was with him at his home on July 30th. Remember, the Tesla was moved on what day? July 29th. According to Steve Fisher's interview on News Nation, the video he obtained was from July 29th and allegedly the same day that the Tesla was moved. So, you know, is the timing suspicious? So a lot of speculation have linked Neo to David. So no, the LAPD have not done anything, but they do have some stuff to sort out. They have to sort out the red shirts. They have to get some of these back and find out, is there any DNA related to Celeste on these red shirts, which is being reported. And also, they have to rule out Neo. If Neo had a key to the mansion, if Neo was driving the Tesla, that is a problem for the LAPD, in my opinion. Hold on one second, you guys. Just give me 1 second.
Well, the LAPD is doing their due diligence to get the proper culprit or corporates dealing with Celeste. So, yeah, we got to figure out who did this, or who, as in plural, did this to Celeste, and how and why. Was there a love triangle, or was there a throuple? Were they all together? But why did Miss Celeste, 14, had to die? David is 20. Asian, Neo-Asian, that's the other guy that's involved, the personal assistant. He is 23. So two 20-year-olds and a 14-year-old girl. You heard in the beginning of the video, they said that she would tell people that she was 19, but David knew the truth. So did Neo, the personal assistant, know the truth about Celeste? Or did he as well think she was 19 when she was 14? And is there any blood in these handmade, blood painted shirts of Celeste? Well, both of these guys are innocent until proven guilty. Agent Neo and David D4VD is proven, until he's proven guilty, he is innocent to proven guilty. So we will see in the coming days what will happen. Will there be more suspects added to this equivalent until we get to the last person, or the culprit or corporates? But yeah, all that's going on right now. So LAPD is looking. They're trying to figure out what's going on. It's just taking a lot longer because there seems to be more and more people involved with this story of Celeste being found in the bottom of a Tesla in pieces. We still don't know if she's pieces or not. They keep saying she's in pieces. Some people say she is in pieces. Some people say she's not. So we need to get to the bottom of that as well. But there's more culprits and more story. So let's go.
Is Neo an accomplice? Is he a decoy? Is he a scapegoat? So as far as Neo goes, I don't know if he had anything to do with it. But if I were Neo, I would be headed over to the LAPD with my attorney to get this sorted out.
Yes, Neo, go to the LAPD. Neo, go to the LAPD about your boyfriend, David D4VD. Go to the LAPD about your boyfriend and tell them what you need to know, what they need to know before it's too late, before you become an accomplice, allegedly.
right away. Remember, David hired himself a really good criminal defense attorney, and I am confident that there's an active PR queue.
Yes, David is right here. He is lawyered up and got the lawyer that Weinstein and some other famous people have used. DV4VD, him right there. So, Asian, Neo, you probably need to do the same. But are you an accomplice of this Celeste trunk Emmer? Time will know. And is there more people to be looked at for this Celeste trunk murder? Let's go.
Campaign going. So if he can, get people to have reasonable doubt and think that somehow Neo is involved in this, that's going to be a problem. So if I were Neo, I would get moving right away. So was there a second crime scene location? All right, let me put this up. So we have these photos of Celeste and David together. There's the shirts he was selling for $35. So law enforcement has to test those now too. So more lab work. Look at all those shirts.
Look at all those shirts. They go to casket.
Okay.
Do you owe the IRS? Maybe it's
No.
5,000,
Go away.
50,000, or even 500,000.
So did something horrible occur at a rental property on Doheny, or was it in the mansion garage, or was it in the mansion? Remember, the client that Steve Fisher is working for, he would not want it to be at the mansion. So I'm not saying Steve Fisher is not telling the truth. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know. I think we should just take it with a pinch of salt. Remember, the mansion owner who hired Steve Fisher does have a dog in this fight, and that it would be in his best interest if this crime did not occur on his property. So is this why we have a delay in the arrest? So people are wondering if something awful occurred in the mansion garage, because people are reporting that there was a smell of bleach and a smell of smoke coming from the mansion garage. So was this David just cleaning up from making t-shirts? Although it looks like he did that inside the mansion. From the photos, looks like he's inside. That doesn't look like he's in the garage. I can see the piano.
Smell of bleach in DV4VD's garage. Did he do it there? Was he cleaning up this shirt with the paint, or paint and fake blood? It will only tell. Time will only tell.
Background. So it looks like he just put down some plastic tarps. Black plastic tarps. Isn't that what Celeste was found in? Black plastic? Wasn't Celeste found in black plastic? If you remember hearing that Celeste was found in black plastic, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't remember hearing that Celeste was found in black plastic, put a 2 in the chat. Let's do a poll. So look at the black plastic tarps. Okay. So he had those. He was doing these shirts. So I don't know if he just made a few of them and didn't make all of them. I don't know. But Neo is somebody that the LAPD is going to have to either rule in or rule out if he had a key, if he had access to the Tesla. So former prosecutor Romney has spoken out to the BBC. And, this may be why we have a delay in the arrest. Okay, let's see where you guys are at in this poll. Is the black plastic? Did you hear that Celeste was found in black plastic? Because look at these tarps. Yep. you for money today, and Joe's. Thank you for money today, Mike. Lots of ones. Rhiannon did not hear it. One. S. Lee says, if she was left in the car in the garage, it would smell terrible inside too. Right, so there's this bleach smell that's reportedly coming from inside the garage, and smoke. Was the smoke for something specific, or was the smoke just to try to get rid of the smell? One from Ralu, one from Octopus, one from Adele, one from Red Cloud. Thank you for money today, Red Cloud. Veronica said, I heard trash bag, which some are black. Lots of ones. Cabling, like, yeah, what's with the tarps? Yikes, yeah. Thanks for money today, Cabling. Like Dexter, yeah. I mean, that's what he had around the house, right? If you were going to wrap somebody up really tight, wouldn't it be black tarps? And isn't this what we're seeing right here? Eyelets clearly visible in the photos, yeah. So if you wrap those and tied those up, I just heard black plastic. David did the shirts on black plastic. Yeah, that's what I'm showing on the screen. You're right. You're right. Gabrielle has a one. So Neo is his personal assistant. And Neo did leave with David on tour. Now, did he come back? Is he who is staying at the house later? Nick Philly says the PI said that the tarp didn't have the holes at the top, but they could be incorrect too. Yeah. Kaloa says most mansions and big houses have storage freezers in the garage. Yeah, her last picture was January. Where was Celeste from January until July? Until July 29th, when do we know she was moved? Adele put a 1. And just if you have any questions, please come up. Yeah, if you're watching, please come up and join me in the top chat. All spooky things instead of David. Yeah, exactly. 1. All right, so a lot of people think that they did hear black plastic. They did hear, and Lori's saying, yeah, LAPD says found in black plastic. So what is that on the ground that we're seeing? I mean, clearly it was in the house, right? Brian says somebody was saying that David and Neo might have another. Yeah, I know, I've heard that too. I don't want to that doesn't really matter to me as far as the case goes. Until it does, if it does. Shelley says she was kept on ice and cold, she believes, when they moved the car July 29th. No, Steve Fisher said July 2nd, but the first time he said it, the last photo he had of her was January 2nd. I went back and watched it because I did see that discrepancy too. Steve Fisher said that Celeste, the last photo that they have of Celeste, it doesn't mean nobody has a photo of Celeste after that, but that's the last one he's been able to have. Dates back to January 2nd, you guys, not July 2nd. He does say July 2nd later, but he already said January 2nd at the beginning. So I think he just misspoke. Everybody heard it. Teresa says she heard it. All right, so thank you. All right, so let's keep going. So I do think it's interesting. We have black tarps. I do think that, obviously these were in the house. This is inside the house. The carpet's pulled back. The table's there. You can see the grand piano. This looks like a kitchen counter here. And then you've got him, some picture of himself making that. And then we have all these pictures with Neo.
Here's how to get home. You're not 22 anymore. Let's be real. The days of sketchy dealers.
So let's talk about the former prosecutor Romney and what they thought. Okay, so they, one of the questions that he was asked was, why is the LAPD taking so long? Now, I think there's just a lot to figure out. They have to rule in or out Neo, right? If he had access to the Tesla, if he helped to move that Tesla, doesn't mean he knew Celeste was inside, but if he helped to move the Tesla and somebody else followed him in an SUV.
That's another scenario that Neo may have moved the Tesla, but he probably didn't have any idea what was in the front trunk of the Tesla. So we need to see how much he is involved. It looks kind of sketchy, but it's a possibility that he didn't even know that what was in the front trunk was in the front trunk, and he probably was like unknowing of the whole thing, even though he had the key to the Tesla, the black Tesla, and the key to the house. He probably came in back and forth and probably missed everything. So until the evidence is cleared, everyone is everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and that is also Mr. D4VD as well. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but that D4VD shirt that he was wearing, talking about sounds gay, it looks like he might went both ways, Mr. D4VD, and also he letting this Asian guy hug on him from the back. He's wearing a gay shirt and they're like rubbing on each other in all the pictures and hugged up on pictures together. Mr. D4VD, yeah, that look kind of suspect. I'm just trying to say that as Miss Rose Gold. It looks kind of suspect, but everyone is innocent until proven guilty. All right, back to the video from Miss Reporter Room. Giving me this hard time now. Yep.
And then got on a tour bus with David. That's a problem. That's a problem for the LAPD. They have to sort that out. It doesn't get David off the hook. It just means that there could be a potential accomplice. It could be Neo didn't even know she was in the trunk when he moved the car, right? Could be he was set up. But if I were Neo, I would get my lawyer and I would go down and have a conversation with the LAPD. So former prosecutor said they haven't released, he's talking about the LAPD, any real information, and this isn't a good look for the LAPD, but it's a terrible look for David. He said that, he added, this is former prosecutor Romney says, that the case has this added pressure. It involves Celeste, who is an underage minor, so they have to get their ducks in a row for that. It has garnered global headlines, so the world is watching. The investigation involves a celebrity, so all of, this is garnering national and international attention. He also noted that the technology and potential for video footage is likely a treasure trove for the LAPD. He said Tesla vehicles come with advanced technology, with tracks, vehicles, notifies users when the trunk is open. Remember, after the trunk is left open for 10 minutes, David would have gotten an alert. So the idea that David wouldn't have known that his car is around the corner is ridiculous. That's why I don't think Neo lets David off the hook, in my opinion. So on top of that, the Hollywood home where David was living also had all the surveillance camera. We're now finding out the LAPD has that, so they have to go through all of it, right? Months, right? For the whole time David lived there, and they find Celeste on camera at the house. And now we're finding out that there's a second property on Doheny, potentially, where photos were taken. That, that means they have the crime scene of the car, the mansion, and potentially a whole nother crime scene to deal with. He also noted that the Tesla vehicles come with advanced technology, and he talked about Sentry Mode system and all of the notifications. So did David turn off his notifications manually? Did he turn his cameras off manually? And if so, when? Right? Because that could be significant. So on top of that, the mansion where David was living also had cameras. They have to go through all of that. And then we have people that were attending parties. And Steve says he has like 1,000 images of people that were taking pictures and taking video at David's house for, different times where he had friends over.
You know your choices matter. And getting it right starts with good information.
Right?
All right, come on.
If this goes to trial, if Neo can be put forward as a secondary, what did they call it in the Brian Koberger alternative suspect, right? He can be put forward as an alternative suspect. This attorney absolutely will. Ryan said there was a white van that parked at the mansion briefly and left right away afterward. Sadly, I think the freezer was utilized. Bailey said so if you think there was a freezer involved, put yes, freezer. If you think no freezer, put no freezer. And let's just do a poll. Bailey said he's gone on other excursions at the time. Why select now to put her in a car and leave it out? Because it was her birthday coming up? That makes sense, right? Because she always sounds like she went home for her birthday. Is Neo cooked now? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, he's going to have to explain himself. I think if he was driving the Tesla, we don't know if it was Neo or not. This is just, so that's my speculation on today. This is speculation from, you know, people on the internet, because Steve said they, not he, they, and then he said he got on a tour bus and left right after, and we thought, oh, that must be David. But then we found out that Neo also was there in San Francisco with David. Ramona says, did he get into an accident for it to have the lights messed up? I don't know. This is all stuff law enforcement is to piece all of this together. So this is way more than we originally thought, you guys. I hope the police search the second home. Thank you so much, Octopus. Thank you for your kindness. Is Neo now cooked? It depends. If I were Neo, this would be my advice. If I were Neo, I would get a lawyer and I would go talk to the LAPD. If I didn't have anything to do with this, I would want to clear myself right away. Aloha says Neo was his other. I'm sure he was one of the perps. David loves gore. There's no way he would not be part of it. Well, I'm just going to urge caution here because we don't know. I don't, you know, I'm going to urge caution here. Why the holdup? Yeah, and a lot of people have felt like, you know, if this had been a blonde white girl that, you know, would this have moved faster? I don't know if it would have. Because the Lacey Peterson case, I mean, it was she was pregnant and it didn't move fast at all. You know, they had a similar situation where, you know, Lacey was found. They didn't know how she had been done away with. She had been in the water such a long time. They didn't, and we still to this day don't know how Scott did it. They were still able to make their case, but it took a lot longer and it took them a lot more work to be able to do it. They still made the case to the jury. The jury still found Scott Peterson guilty and even imposed capital punishment, which was later commuted. But, you know, so I'm just saying that the whole concept of the LAPD isn't investigating this. I think we should just put that to the side and just realize that there's a lot more for them to go through than we ever knew before. Caitlin said, if a freezer was involved, it could explain the length of time it took for the vehicle to put off. Right, because she was defrosting, right? If she was wrapped up in black plastic, you can see black plastic here. If she was wrapped up in black plastic, tight, and was in some type of a freezer and was put in there like that, that would explain why this air freshener, which isn't there when the Tesla's being moved, but is placed there later, you know, maybe it was put in. But did somebody go check the car? Was there a part 2 to this plan that just never got implemented? And Jazz is reminding us that we have a Brian Kohlberger live stream tonight too. Did his sister, Melissa, write a book this summer? We're going to talk about that. Mystic said, yes, the freezer. Yes, freezer. Polar says, yes, freezer. DDWM said, there's a lot we don't know. Yeah, what we're learning mostly is from SF Investigates and what he's been able to find. So if he's been able to find this whole treasure trove of information, imagine what the LAPD is having to go through. Ego says, thank you to people talking about the case. Yeah, I do feel confident that we are going to see an arrest in this case. The phone pings can show a lot. Yes. And Josh says, yes, thank you for modding today. YouTube Bad Actor says, yes. Susan, thank you for modding, yes. Lori says, be sure to add in my opinion, please. You want to drop it again, Lori, if I missed it? Yes. Falua says, agrees with you, unspoken heart stillness. Lulu says, I think a milling the case with all the proof that we have it. You need to be 100% sure. Exactly. They have to be able to provide this to the jury without reasonable doubt. Without reasonable doubt. And if this is the type of material that Celeste was found in, if she was found in black tarps, well, there they are. So then it comes down to if that's what she was found in black plat.
Up to 6 times more moisture, organic shea butter, and our vitamin B complex. Step into your curl power.
I just got paid $62,000 for my car accident using nothing but
stick. If it's these tarps. Yes, freezer. Cabling says yes. Thank you for modding today, Cabling. Red Cloud says yes. Remy says yes. Antonio says, for all we know, it could have been a love triangle. Sure looks like Neo and David is awfully close. Yeah. Yes. 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 And Nick Dog Philly says no freezer. Ramona said, did they find her phone yet? No, not that I know of. It doesn't mean they didn't find it. It just means I don't know about it. S. Lee says, yes, freezer. He has a Texas property, and who knows who and where he's been staying or stayed. All that needs to be checked. He did things with... I don't know. Just trolling said it wasn't... Let me read it because I'm not subscribed. Okay, that's all right. Let me find another source. Of course, they're showing me all videos when I'm trying to find news. Okay. According to Google, she was found in pieces. I'm not sure what happened there. Wrapped in black plastic is how Google is phrasing it, their AI, inside the Tesla. And they're giving me a link. Let's see what their source is on this, if I could see it. They are sourcing the New York Post for their sources on that. So it just says black plastic, and I've also seen black plastic bag. But I'm wondering if it was a tarp. It just says black plastic according to Google. Supaloop says, does anyone know whether or not they found the property where David and Celeste live streamed at? Well, we know where it is. It's on Doheny, but I'm just not showing it because I can. If you guys want me to show it, let me know. I will do it. If you want me to deep dive that one, I can deep dive that next. I was just deep diving Neo right up until I went live today. Shelley said, I have a feeling a lot of people he worked with are several of the people he worked closely with did not know, and everybody's kind of finding out a whole lot more. Yeah, and Neo could just be an innocent person that happened to have worked with David, deleted his social media because he didn't want to be affiliated with David because he's trying to get his own career going and have absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Celeste. I just want to put that out there. We don't know. Sharon said, I wonder if David was being treated for psych issues. What made his parents homeschool him? I don't know. Brian Kohlberger, it took us a long time to find out, and we did finally find out that he had some kind of a problem with in school. DDWM says, Inga, sadly, I think the freezer was utilized. Bailey said he cross-matched with witness statements to determine whether they were used to conceal what happened to Celeste or doing away with rather than aid in the discovery. Steve Fisher emphasized that while law enforcement has communicated that Celeste passed several weeks before she was found, and his timeline analysis suggests a window of at least 10 to 14 days during which the vehicle may have been moved, may have been cleaned or tampered with, raising serious questions about what occurred during that undocumented period. Now, I don't think the car was washed on the outside, but again, we have reports of the smell of bleach coming from inside the garage. Finally,
All right. So this is my last take on the David and Celeste stuff. Well, that's probably what's taking so long. Not because she's Latino, not because she's not black, not white, she's not blonde. It just is a lot of stuff that the police and LAPD has to sort through. All the cameras from the neighbor, all the cameras from the car, all the cameras from the Bohemian. The second location. So there's a second location, another person, Asian Neo, who had access to the house and the car that David first house. I don't know if he had access to the second house as well, but he had definitely had access to that Tesla that Celeste was found in. But also, yes, Asian Neo has unfollowed David from all the social media platforms and deleted pictures of him and David. So is that an admission of guilt? Time will tell. And what else? The shirts that police are confiscating from D4VD concert goers to see if there is real blood, aka Celeste real blood, inside the shirts. So a lot of allegations being made, even allegations about Asian Neo, the slash assistant of D4VD, and also allegation of D4VD's probably romantic relationship with Asian Neo. So a lot of that is coming out, and a lot of the pictures do look suspect. So the unfollowing, the suspect pictures with him and David, and also he has pictures on the 30th, the day after the car was found, with David. Asian Neo has pictures with David a day after the car was found. And also, he got on a tour bus on the 29th with David. So, and then the suspect pictures and the unfollowing, it just looked kind of suspicious. But Asian Neo and David are innocent until proven guilty. And this is the Rose Gold take on David and Celeste. Please like and subscribe and hit the like button. And have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.